Now, let's give a warm welcome to your host, Kahtide.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Kahtide. It's me, Kahtide. How you doing out there? I'm your host. Thank you for tuning into our show today. Coffee with Kahtide is a show where we discuss the most up-to-date news and pop culture, and where I answer questions and offer advice to my audience. If you're looking for a taste of what's going on in the world, you come to the right place. And today we are graced with the very special presence of our guest, ZaraDancer. Hi, Zara. You want to say hello?
Hey, hello everybody. How's it going?
Oh, good. Am I hearing you? I think I hear you here. Yeah, look, say something again. I want to check and see that this is registering on my volume.
Hello.
Yeah, it is. Oh, we have a guest. Oh, we have another voice. Hello. Wonderful. Hi. Let me do my shout outs for socials real quick, and then we'll get into what's going on with you here. But ZaraDancer, streamer, friend of the show, going to be guest starring today. So before we get to it, you can find me on lovely social medias like Tumblr, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, YouTube, and X. Feel free to follow me there. I hate X. Don't follow me there. You can join the Discord too. You can also check me out at savdevelopment.com for all my game development projects. And if you want to help support the channel, you can subscribe, or you can go to the Koffee link. Both of those help out a lot. Your donations and subscriptions help support the show and all my creative efforts. And of course, also, if you have a chance, I'm going to post this up here so everyone can see it. Go ahead and check out ZaraDancer's stuff here at www.zarawolf.com, at ZaraDancer on Instagram and Threads, and twitch.tv/ZaraDancer for streams, which, as I hear, will be coming out soon. Let's hear more about that. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Zara, and what's going on with you.
Hey. Well, let's see. What am I? I am a adult content creator and spicy dancer. I'm never really sure what all the different, censorship parameters are on different sites.
That's for TikTok. We don't think about that.
I know, but it's like also Instagram. You have to kind of use a lot of those same terms, so that's just kind of what I'm used to. But yeah,
Fair
I
enough.
create adult content online, and I dance at a couple of different clubs in Portland, Oregon.
Cool.
So that is mostly what I do.
The hub of communist activity in America, clearly.
Oh yes, yes. I have done a little streaming here and there on Twitch. It is something that I am looking to get back into and to do with more regularity than I have been in the past. A lot of my both physical and mental time space tends to get taken up with making content or working in the club. So I'm looking to make a little bit of a shift for myself and get myself a little bit more onto this platform.
Oh, totally. I mean, now when it's dying is the best time to come onto this onto Twitch.
That's what I've been hearing. So I was like, my timing is perfect.
Oh no, we'll hop onto YouTube. We'll
YouTube streaming.
Yeah, then. We'll multi-stream later. It'll be great. Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that you're thinking about taking up streaming again. What do you like to stream? Tell us about what you like to stream. What are your interests?
I play all different kinds of video games. I am a big horror fan, and those tends to be the kind of games that I enjoy watching.
Oh yeah.
Past streams or on Twitch itself that other streamers do. So I'm looking to get into that, especially with Silent Hill 2 remake coming out. Silent Hill is like my favorite game series of all fucking time, and Silent Hill 2, one of my top 5 games of all time. So the fact that it's being remade, new thing, it's going to be coming out, I think, sometime this year. if
You know,
I'm remembering correctly. Perhaps next year, but I think it's this year it's coming out.
Mhm.
So definitely want to get into more horror games. The
Yeah.
other
You know, I'm such
thing
a bad gamer. Like I've only ever played an hour of Silent Hill 2, and I hear it's one of the like masterpieces of horror, and it's like, oh, I
it
don't even
is.
know it. I don't even know it.
It influenced so much in the horror genre. Um, well, if you're not into playing the horror games, you can watch me stream it.
No, I'll watch you stream it, but I mean, I'll do a horror game. I played Outlast recently. I don't know if you saw that. Boy, there was a lot
Oh,
of
I did
there's
not see that one. I did not see
yeah,
that one.
I played that recently. You know, coming back to it, didn't realize how much fucking just schlong was just hanging out in that game. I had to avert my gaze many times during my stream to avoid like all the pipe that was laying around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I watched both Outlast and Outlast 2. I think it was either Jacksepticeye or Markiplier that I
Mhm.
watched play through those. But they are ones that are like on my list of games to play because I haven't personally played through them.
Mood. Have you played Dead by Daylight? I have a feeling like that would be like almost like a niche you could hit if you really wanted to get into like doing like horror game streaming. 'Cause I feel like that's
I
always really
I
popular.
haven't, but that's the online one, right? Where they've got all
Yeah,
the different skins for,
all the
who's the
slashers.
killer and all that. Which, speaking of Silent Hill, they added as like all these little things were kind of being dropped around the world before they like officially announced that it was coming out, and one of them was adding uh, a hero skin of Heather from
Hmm.
Silent Hill 3 and Pyramid Head as
Yeah,
one of the villains. And when that got dropped on that game, like I remember really only starting to pay attention to that game when that announcement came out, and
of
everyone was like,
course.
because it's all like reskinned and all like new graphics, do you think they're gonna be redoing it? And of course, yes, they
Of
are.
course they are. I mean, not to knock, because I'm sure like it's going to be a great remake. I'm personally, I just can't do remake. Like, there's so many of them at this point. I don't have hype
I
for it. You know,
I understand.
I just have no
When I
smoke for
was
it.
when I was streaming previously, I was playing through the Resident Evil games because I had never played them.
Hmm.
And of course, at this point in time, getting a hold of the original games is a bit more difficult. So I was playing through the remake versions.
Hmm.
So I did original uh, Resident Evil 0, original Resident Evil 1, because that one hasn't been remade, but it was
Hmm.
remake of 2 and 3. And then I was partway through Resident Evil 4 when the remake got dropped for that. And so I sort of stopped because I was like, oh, I should just do the remake versions because I'm coming
Hmm.
to it new, so might as well come at it from,
Damn, you
this
played a
newer
lot of these ones
perspective.
though. You played a lot of these games. You're stuck to this like I'm stuck to Stalker. Like literally, I played the same goddamn game 4 times through now at this point. Like, but I can't get
Um,
enough of it. You know what I mean? It's like the
well,
same damn map
Stalker,
over and over again.
yeah, I feel that. Stalker is definitely on my list because one of the
Hmm.
other things I want to do with streaming is like, aside from horror games, I think like
Yeah.
if I were to focus on something, I want to focus on games that are based within like Slavic mythology or
Oh yeah.
within Eastern Europe. So
I
when
need
I
a
was looking at
translator. I need a translator who can speak in Cyrillic so I can know what all the signs mean in Stallcraft.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, as I told you earlier, I am going to be picking that up, so I'm happy to run
Hmm.
around with you and let you know
Lol.
what we're looking at and reading.
Hell
Because
yeah,
that
we're
is
gonna
something
build a
I want to
squad.
do. When I pulled up like a master list a little while back of like games that were set in that setting, all of
Hmm.
the Stalker games, of course, were on there,
Oh
and
yeah,
of course the Witcher games were on there. And a
yeah.
number of other ones and some newer ones that have not been released yet that I've got on my wish list on Steam that look like they're going to be really interesting and really promising. And mythology has always been one of my hyper focuses, and of course Slavic mythology because that's like where my background is, where my family came from. Uh, Being able to play through the games and then just nerd out about like what it's based on is something I'm looking forward to doing.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. I think that would be really cool. Slavic themed games. I mean, I guess there's Tarkov, although I hear that Tarkov is infested with hackers, so that's probably not the option to go for. Um,
Mm.
I mean, we could go back to DayZ. You want to go play DayZ?
Oh my god.
Oh boy. I mean, I've never tried that one, but I hear it's very, you know, rugged. If you want to play a very rugged game, we could play that together. But yeah, I mean, I guess I feel like we could talk about games all day. I mean, I want to know more about. I mean, obviously the streaming. I want to know more about your streaming plans, though. So I guess that is related to that. But are there other things you want to do with streaming too, or just mostly want to focus on games right now and trying to recover?
Right now, mostly focusing on games because the other type of streaming I've done is camming.
Right.
So it's like I do stream a lot, but of course with Twitch or with YouTube, the camming thing is not the way to go.
I mean, I was thinking like, since you're gonna have free time, we should host some just chatting events or something. I don't know. I want to do some.
Absolutely, I would love to just like chat about games or world events and.
I would love. I want to get a couple people together. That's been my dream with streaming for like the whole time I've been doing it. It's just to get a couple people together who want to do it and want to like be on cam and chat together and like fuck around and shit. Because that's the basis, I feel like, of any good like development. As like, there's always, okay, here's my theory, and I'm gonna go on a bit of a tangent, but my theory is that the way that like you get really hype on the internet these days is no longer to be like the Markiplier or the PewDiePie, where you're like the one guy, or even the Germa. Germa is like almost like the very like last echo of what these guys used to be like, where there was like the one guy who like everyone gravitated toward, you know. Now I feel like it's like you have to be like kind of part of a crew to get any kind of like big attention these days. Like it's a lot of with like, especially with the Minecrafter kids these days, like you have to be like in a crew of people doing a thing to be like noticed, and then you can branch off and become a person, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, at least that's what it seems like. You kind of have to like you have like it's almost like Tyler the Creator with Odd Future, and like everybody breaking off after that to like do their own careers and stuff. Like you start off with a crew, and then you do your own career, and that gives you like enough of a foundation to build off of online. Although I guess I could be wrong on that. I mean, I obviously don't have success, so I could be wrong about that. But that's just me looking on the outside here.
Yeah, and
what do you think?
With like with these platforms changing, like with Twitch making all of its changes and people starting to move away from it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna cover that later, by the way.
With YouTube now jumping into the game of this gaming streaming. I feel like in the next year or two, like this like live streaming world, especially for gaming, is gonna kind of change a bit. So we'll see. Like right now, I feel like you either have to be already like a big established single person, who's already like big on YouTube. Whenever they tune in to, she wanted to get on the keyboard. No,
we got a cat alert.
Cat alert, indeed. Like they establish themselves so early that it's really hard to get yourself up.
They have inertia.
They got in at the right time, and there's just like no one else is really able to kind of get up to where they are now.
Yeah.
So, I agree. It's like the groups, like, oh yeah, these 4 smaller streamers are all, playing something, Minecraft.
They're playing Minecraft together, yeah, usually, or like Fortnite or Roblox.
What was the one that's really popular right now that I've been seeing?
Oh, Pal World. They're probably playing Pal World together right now. Or is it a different one?
No, it's a different one. Oh shit, something company.
Oh, Lethal Company. Everyone's playing Lethal Company right now.
Yes, so like
it's the meta wave, yeah.
Yeah, and then a while back it was like Phasmophobia and
yep.
Like the ghost hunting ones, yeah. So for sure right now it seems like the group thing, but I think with platforms changing, people moving away from Twitch, I think the scene is gonna change within the next year. We're gonna see some new things pop up and different ways that algorithms work and different things that audiences are looking for.
Different metas will appear and people will follow them. Ooh,
Oh,
we
okay.
have a
Well, what one of the new metas, I guess, is popping up is joystick, which
joystick.
is it's game streaming but for adult content
Ooh,
creators.
oh yeah, I
Where
remember this. Oh yeah.
so I've set up an account in there. I haven't started streaming there yet. I will be.
Oh, I should stream with you on there. That would be so funny. Oh my god. Also,
But like
really
one of the
quickly.
things is people send tips because you can get wireless interactive toys.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
like here, and so then it's like challenges of like I am trying to beat this boss, and suddenly my toy is going off inside me because someone set off a really
I would.
good tip.
Can I hilariously
Um,
commentate over that? Like that would be really
oh
funny.
my god, absolutely!
I would love
Almost like
to just be like an awkward presence on the stream.
I mean, like just like those awkward commentators who like have like no experience in
Hmm.
ice skating world, and they're like off to the side, like, oh, now they're doing the triple jump. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's really but I have like no idea what the fuck it actually is.
Chat, to go back to our previous topic really quickly, our chatter Trubits TV says Donald Glover broke off of Derek comedy. So yeah, exactly. So like Donald Glover, for example, is a great example. Like Childish Gambino, that shit. You know, he popped off with his shit after he got some success with Derek comedy, and he started getting like TV shit going. You know, like he was kind of working on stuff early on, and then built off that foundation that he built with other people, and then did his own thing. You know.
Yeah, and then like taking it even further back, what was it in Living Color, where like a lot of the very famous like comedic actors that we know of like all started on there, like
exactly.
You know, like where we think of them like, oh, it's just Jim Carrey, or oh, it's just Whoopi Goldberg, and it's like no, they were on like a comedy skit thing on Living Color on TV like way the fuck back in the day before even becoming guest people on like SNL. Which
Yeah,
is
I was gonna reference.
SNL,
yeah,
and then
how many SNL alumni have gone on to do movies and shit? Exactly. It's all. It's about like it's almost like you kind of have to build a recognizable brand with as many people as possible. Like you need like as many entry points into like the brand as you can get for like people to be interested, and then they will, by virtue of you being connected to that one person they like, will become interested in you and may stick around for you at that point then. But it's all just kind of this momentum inertia game, and it's very hard to get it rolling. But I think once you do it, it tends to really kind of keep itself going, as long as you don't fuck up and like do some stupid shit that you're gonna get like canceled for, you know, which a lot of people have done.
yeah.
But yeah,
for me,
so
I think like when I look back on like the canceling thing, like if it's something that somebody said like 10 years ago and they're suddenly canceled for that, I'm like, that one, like I'm not so much like on that, because it's like people change in 10 years, and I think back to like being a kid, and you know, you're so like sequestered in your own little community, and you say shit that you now look back on, you're like, oh, that was a problem, I'm glad I've learned. Versus like they said something last week and then you're like, yeah, okay, no, you still embody all that, never mind, go away.
Yeah. The lack of wisdom definitely helped me like have more forgiveness for someone saying some crazy shit, you know. I mean, again, it's context dependent, you know. I mean, if someone's like, I don't know, if someone did some really horrible stuff and like they haven't really shown that much growth since then, like I'm not going to necessarily give them the benefit of the doubt that they've really changed, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not going to necessarily be like condemning someone right away just because they did something pretty messed up in the past. Like we've all messed up, we've all made mistakes. Yeah. So I'm with you on that. But yeah, like I guess I don't know where I was going with this point. I kind of got lost in the point. Anyway, I was more going to go back to just seeing like, so you want to do horror streaming? I definitely get that. What else? Is there anything else besides like the more adult oriented streaming? Does anything else tickle your fancy in terms of like work you want to put out there in the world? Like for example, you know, I do my game stuff. You know, is there anything else you do that you like to share out there with the world?
Yeah, well, I used to be really heavily involved in the cosplay community back when I was still living in California.
I have been encouraging you to get back into it.
Yeah, once I moved up to Oregon, it just kind of all went away.
There are so many weebs in Oregon, though.
I know. Well, the thing is like part of it is also just like the time of being able to construct the outfits myself.
Yes.
So I started leaning a little bit more into like, well, if I have the funds, I will throw the funds at someone who's already built the thing.
Yes, yes.
You know, I no longer ride on my pride of like, oh, I can only show myself as a cosplayer if I've built every single bit myself and woven the fabric and collected the wool. Because people used to get really anal about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You're not a true person if you didn't do it this way. And I've, you know, when I was younger and more heavily in the community, I really felt the pressure of that, and I've let that go. But I would like to get back into at least like maybe not necessarily making things from scratch, but starting myself back at like easing back into it of like modifying pieces that I have or, you know, that I find. I'm like, ooh, this would, like, with a little fix here, little fix there, I could easily translate into this character's outfit, or, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sitting here in my streaming room, I'm actually looking over at my wall of wigs and the various character wigs that I have. It's like a lot of the things I have so many costumes. I've sort of stopped going to those conventions and things. So this year would be really, really nice to get back into bringing
the cosplay
stuff out and going to do the cosplay stuff.
Yeah, I used to cosplay too myself. I wasn't like big. I wasn't big into it. I was like, it was like a fun side thing to do because I would go to cons and stuff, and like, you know, you dress up, like that's the thing you do. You like you like a month ahead of time. You just take a moment, go collect some supplies, get some stuff ready.
Oh, now, yeah, for me, it was constant creation. I entered the contest. I got known for that.
Well, you did a lot better than I did then. I had a cheat code, actually. So, like, I couldn't sew very well. I was not very good at making costumes. I eventually, like, made one on my own and figured out how to kind of get it done. But before I knew how to kind of use a sewing machine, my cheat code was I would be the prop guy. So I'd always build the props for everybody. Because I was much better at building those than I was at like making an outfit. So I would make yeah.
Oh, continue. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say I would like build a lot of like styrofoam and props and things like that, and weapons and gear and things like that for people. And a lot of them for myself too. And I had a reputation for making excessively heavy weaponry. So I would make them out of really sturdy materials like steel pipes and like plywood and shit like this, so they wouldn't fall apart, but they would be kind of heavy to carry around.
Nah, PVC and foam.
Yeah, well, I would see so many people like with broken props because they would be using PVC and foam, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna maybe use foam for parts of it, and then like wood for parts of it, or like metal for parts of it. It depended, but yeah, it was. That was my cheat code.
The part I struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
Always struggled with the props. It's like. It sort of became a thing in our group, like the folks that were better at prop making, like they would make the props and then I would get their measurements and I would make the outfits.
Yes,
like
I had
the machine and the skills, and yeah, we would trade off. So yeah, that's something I want to get back into. It wouldn't, like, I don't think that I would like do like a crafting stream. I know some people do that where they film themselves making. I don't think that's something
that could be
I would
cool,
get
though.
into.
It could be kind of cool. I've thought about doing art streams like that where I just have it on and like I'm not talking and I just like working on stuff in the background, you know.
I think I just get a little too distracted. So it's like once I get into my zone of building, I need to do it where it's like if I'm doing all the setup with the cameras and stuff, by the time I'm done getting the setup, my brain is like, and now we need to go do a different thing, and then it just doesn't happen.
Totally.
For me, I don't think the like crafting side of things, putting it on a stream would work for me, but definitely like I want to get back into going to conventions this year and showing up in cosplay, whether I've purchased it or ended up making it myself or modifying. And yeah, I mean, it's always a lot more fun to go with a group. So if you're looking to get back into cosplay or anything like that, like let's go. Like, I mean, let's hit up a convention in town sometime. I
definitely want to go to a con again. My problem is like I don't know what I would even want to look like cosplay at this point anymore. Like, I'm not really watching a lot of anime, and I used to go mostly to anime conventions. I mean, I still have my old Star Trek uniform. It's not in the best shape, but it would probably work. I have like an old science officer outfit.
Yeah, it honestly it doesn't matter. Like you could throw on stuff from.
I'd want to go fresh, you know.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I still go, like, old school Sailor Moon. So, like, the most recent kind of cosplay anything I've done is Halloween working at the club. I did, like, stripper versions of a couple of different anime characters. And one of them was Dark Lady from
Mhm.
Sailor Moon. And it's
Right.
like, now they did, like, Crystal, but even Sailor Moon Crystal is, like, a number of years old now. And
Mhm.
people still fucking knew what it was. So you can pull out like the really, really old school thing. And sometimes people are almost enjoying that more because everyone is like, ooh, this is the most big popular, anime going on right now or movie or whatever. And so you have like 600 people and then to
All
see
doing
like
it.
a handful of people doing like a really old school thing, people get to it.
Yeah,
Or
no,
if they don't
it's
know what
true.
it is, they'll ask you about it and they're like, oh shit, this anime from like 20 years ago, like, yeah, I'll go check it out. Is it on Crunchyroll? Where can I find it?
Yeah, I do feel like there is a difference. So like, yeah, I feel I see what you're talking about. Like, there's a difference between like going as the new hotness and then like
Mhm.
going as like something old school. Because I've done both of those things. And when you go as like the in thing, like you get to
Mhm.
meet a lot of people that are interested in that, and like people are really excited, and like they'll take a lot of photos with you and stuff. But it's kind of more of a shallow experience as opposed to when you go as something kind of more obscure and you get recognized, because that person's going to be like, oh shit, you made my day with this cool thing. Like,
Yeah.
I love the effort you went to. It's
And
much
then
more
you get to like
interesting.
deep dive
You might
nerd
even
with
make a
them.
friend it's easier to make a friend with that kind of person, I think, than it is with the like, hey, we're all on the same fandom bandwagon here, you know. Here,
Mhm.
do you want to read my fic that I wrote about, Steven Universe? Like, no, I don't. I don't care. I'd rather talk with the other person about that cool Ed and Eddie cosplay that they're wearing. Like, that sounds really cool. Like, let's talk about that. They got a
Well,
great double D.
even taking like a character that's popular
Hmm.
and how pulling in some of the old history of that character, people really appreciate. Again, Halloween, one of the nights that I was working, or the Halloween week, I should say, I did stripper version of Harley Quinn,
Hmm.
but I did like the classic, red and black look of hers.
Hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
I had people who like are obsessed with Harley Quinn, but all of the people were saying like, I love that you're doing classic Harley because everybody's doing the Margot Robbie film
Oh yeah.
version these days, or like the more recent Harley animated show. I forget which network that one's on, where it's really moved away from her old like
Girl design.
her old design.
Hmm.
So it's like even that like bringing back like a character, a DC character, but going for like a Silver Age or a Golden Age look versus like what they currently look like. People still appreciate that, even though it's like, yeah, you might be doing like a super popular character like Harley, but you're
Yeah.
doing something that people sort of moved away from and are doing the more modern stuff.
You're doing more of a throwback on the on this character that has kind of achieved more of a modern status, and you're going back
Hmm.
on it. Yeah. Also, hi, the Otaku Nerd 9001 afternoon. How are you doing? We're doing great. At least I'm doing great. Hope Zara's doing great as well.
I'm
We're
doing
chatting
pretty
here on Coffee
fabulous.
with Kahtide. Also, quick ad break warning. Ad break is coming in 50 seconds. So if you want to avoid that ad break on this live Twitch stream, you can subscribe to the channel and avoid it. Also, consider following and subscribing to Zara. Here, I'm going to post Zara's information here. Go to www.zarawolf.com, or on Instagram and Threads, you can go to @ZaraDancer, or on twitch.tv/ZaraDancer. You can go there, do a follow, help us out here. We're trying to get Zara some more
I'm
follows as
I'm not
well, too.
affiliate yet, so we're
Not
trying to get there.
You're still on affiliate? Yeah, we got to get you up to affiliate.
I
So,
don't have
hey,
enough people chatting during my stream.
that's right. I forgot. That is the
I
problem.
have my numbers and my hours in. It's just people interacting.
Okay, well, we're gonna figure that one out for you here. We're gonna get some numbers up there for you. Get some more people chatting. I had that happen too, where like I had enough people chatting at a certain point on my stream, and like
Mhm.
it took them like 2 weeks for it to register because it didn't register till the end of the month. So it was a little weird that way.
Yeah,
Um,
it kept coming out of you need like a total of 3 people interacting. At least that's what it
yeah.
was last time I looked at it. They may have changed the numbers, but I kept averaging at the end of the month 2 point something people. So I was
Yeah.
like, really? You're gonna take it as like there isn't 0.3% of a human being. That is a human being. Give me the 3 freaking people. God damn
Hmm.
it.
Well, you know, if we play StallCraft together, we're gonna find lost backpacks
yeah.
together. We're gonna find as many lost backpacks as we can, and we're gonna put our Twitch information on it, and they're gonna be there. We're gonna advertise.
Watching that yesterday,
that somehow worked really well, which I think is surprising. Well. Oh, the Otaku Nerd here says, talking about older characters, I went as Uncle Iroh to Comic-Con, and a lot of people recognize me. There was a Zuko that literally yelled out, "Uncle!" which I thought was awesome. Yeah, exactly. It's so cute when that happens. That's so cute when that happens.
Favorite thing. Like when you run into other cosplayers from whatever you are cosplaying and just like reacting at least semi in character to each other. Like I hold on to some of those memories too, and like I'll think back on them, and yeah, it just it tickles the heart.
Yeah, I never have watched Avatar personally. I know, shame on me, but I know that people love it.
I also haven't.
Oh my god, if we could watch like copyrighted material on stream, we could I would do a watch party of Avatar with you. But
oh my god,
that would be highly illegal.
Sounds like you and I might need to do a watch party, the two of us.
Do we need to find like some
world that haven't seen it?
Do we need to advertise some like dark web link that's like, come watch Avatar on the dark web with us illegally? It'll be awesome, you know. Shh, don't tell anyone. Secret pirate channel, you know. I don't know if that would work, but hey, we can figure it out. But yeah, I miss con. I would love to do it, although god, I'm not going to go advertise myself as Kahtide at the con. That would be a bad idea. If I did, I would go masked up. I would definitely like be in like some, maybe I should go in like, what if I built a Kahtide cosplay, you know, and I just went like that. That would be I could do that. I mean, I feel like
I've given up on hiding my face. I've just been face out for so long.
That's fair.
Like in the nerd scene and in like the adult industry scene.
Yeah, you've got a pre-existing like hit career in the nerd scene. I know that.
Exactly, and like recognizable facial tattoos, things like that. Like it's, unless I go really hard and heavy with makeup and masking, like there's no point. I'm just it's me. Hi.
I understand that. I personally prefer my anonymity as much as I can. So that's where I'm at.
My anonymity went away like ages ago in the cosplay world. So I have had people that did not follow me into my adult career. That one of the few times that I went to a convention up here in Oregon, I got recognized and called by my old moniker, my old online moniker. So I was like,
wild.
Oh, wow.
People still remember
me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I guess this is humble bragging. I don't know. I used to regularly go to San Diego Comic-Con, and I ended up like in newspapers and interviews and things like that. So my anonymity went away a long time ago.
Yeah, no worries. I don't think that's humble bragging. Like, it's just how it is. You know, when you're in a community like cosplay and you do it for long enough, people recognize you and you pick up a name and you get interviewed and stuff. You know, it happens. I think that happens with any hobby. You know, there's always like niche publications that are talking about stuff like that, you know. You get the news story that comes out to the con and it's like, these weirdos are dressed in costumes. We interviewed a few of them, and then it's like, you know, they get as many oddballs as they can on the channel.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, but no, I think it'd be cool. Yeah, I would love to do some more cosplaying and get out there a bit more. I've been a bit of a shut-in over the past few months, just kind of working on stuff. So it'd be good to kind of branch out a bit more and, you know, get out there again and stretch my legs a bit. I think that'd be very fun.
Well, I am happy to be your guide coming back out into the world of fandom.
The other thing I'm hoping to do, I don't know if this is even going to take off, but I want to do like more videos on YouTube. Like, I don't know if you saw the one I put up recently about Gmod, but I want to do more like that, where I'm just like posting videos where I go out and chat with people online in like multiplayer games and get takes and stuff like that, and make videos and stuff. I think that's a good format. I want to do more of that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Videos are hard and they take forever, and they take a long time to make.
Tell me about it.
Like for that last video I did, it was like I did a couple hours of recording on a Friday. Then I did Saturday and Sunday of editing, and then I think I finished up editing with like a little bit of final touches Monday and uploaded everything then. And it was like, oh my god, that was for like 30 minutes of video. just to get everything done. It was many hours of work.
It's about I run into similar kind of thing for literally a 5-minute video.
Oh yeah, I bet. It's so much work. Editing sucks. It's so, I don't know.
Especially if you're like trying to get different angles of things and whatnot. So, and it's like, hey, I am both actor and camera crew. So,
you have to do a lot of work.
Everything, yeah.
Sound designer, like, boom operator. Oh, it's a lot of stuff to do, and people like I'm not cut out for all of it. Like, I feel like I do a mediocre job mostly on this stream, like getting everything working, and like that's not to denigrate myself. I just feel like it's a lot of work, and I'm not like, it's not my forte, like you know.
I definitely know that like my production value would go way up if I at least had a person running camera for me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah.
There's also like, I don't know if you run into this, like listening to yourself talk, but like for me, like when I'm going through editing and like having to like watch myself,
I become numb to it after a while. Like,
yeah, I have become numb to it, but like sometimes when I have gaps in between filming content and I go back to it, I'm like, oh god.
It's like a numbing period when I start. Like, if I start editing a video of myself, like the first hour, I'm like, oh, this sounds bad. And then the rest of it, I'm like, okay, this is just a voice now. This is not even my voice anymore. This is just a voice that I'm editing. Also, quickly to go back to the last topic, I wanted to bring up the Otaku Nerds comment here. Honestly, I love those types of interactions. I'm assuming the interactions where you meet up with other people together. The only sucky thing about that Uncle Iroh cosplay is I couldn't wear my glasses because no one would recognize me. I also have the problem of having to wear glasses with my cosplays too, and I wanted to mention this. It is so annoying. I always have to try and find an outfit that can kind of incorporate glasses, or I have to find contact lenses, and that's a pain in the ass to do. I have to find them in my prescription, and I have to usually get them colored too. So it's like, ugh. I want to give up. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I used to have to wear glasses and contacts. I had surgery done on my eyes, so I no longer have to do that. But yeah, I would do the contact lenses. I never bothered with the color contacts. Like, okay, yeah, my eyes aren't the right color, and I just accepted that because with the prescription that I had to have for the contact lenses, they couldn't make colored contacts up to my prescription because my eyes were so bad. So I just let that side go. I was like, okay, eyes are not correct color, but well, at least it's not the glasses. But I understand that frustration. And I am very glad that I don't have to worry about that anymore. Now I can do all the character color contacts that I want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's been a while since I've cosplayed. I'll probably find an alternative solution. But actually, I was gonna transition this over to our next segment because we have a couple segments on the show. So thank you again for doing the question answering, and it's great to hear more about you. We'll do more chatting, of course, but we have some news and pop culture topics to get into here. So we're gonna cover those. So let me get us over to the next section here. Okay.
Alrighty.
And what big booming voice, sign us off here to the next section.
It's time for the news. Let's hear it, Kahtide.
All right. So we're in our current event section now. This is where we talk about news, politics, the economy, and all that other boring shit. I'm sure you're so excited to cover the news with me today, aren't you? Like, aren't you, Zara?
I mean, it's
so excited.
So exciting. I would much rather talk about games, but it is
of course
important things to be aware of.
Well, some of the news will be about games, so if that makes you feel any better.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we'll talk about a few things. You've already gone over my list. So is there anything on the news list so far that looks interesting to you that you want to touch on first?
I am happy to follow your lead.
Okay, you just want me to pick something? Okay, that's fine.
Go for it. Pick something and I will chime in.
So let's see here. We'll do a funny one first. So I wanted to cover a pretty funny one here. So we'll start with some news here. First off with politics around the country. So, are you familiar with Lauren Boebert?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. So recent news about her is that she had a really tough time in her last congressional district. So she actually ended up moving to a new congressional district and ran in the race there. And during the race, as mentioned here in the Axios headline, Lauren Boebert is blasted as carpetbagger in first debate in new congressional district race. So she ended up moving congressional districts to try and face off with some Republican rivals. And some of her rivals had a lot of shitty things to say about her. They said things like, here, Mike Lynch said, can you give me the definition of carpetbagger? She said, my boys and I needed a fresh start. I just think it's very funny. So are you familiar with some of her recent, some of the recent events in her life?
Honestly, the most recent thing that I paid attention to was her, like, being felt up by her boyfriend and stealing her boyfriend up while watching the Beetlejuice musical.
Yes, that is the
all
thing that...
while condemning, like, oh, these whores out here being bad women, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, lady,
yes, she's very much like that.
You shake your finger at me and tell me how I'm a horrible, horrible woman, but at least I'm not doing that in front of children.
Oh, yeah. Here, we got a clip, actually. If you want to watch the clip with me, we can actually watch it together from the AP
we have
here.
A question in the chat from Trubits. Carpetbagger.
A carpetbagger. So I'd be happy to explain that to you. So originally, after the Civil War, when people from the North, government officials and military officials and things like that, came to the South to manage Reconstruction, which was, the process of trying to, reintegrate the South into the Union, to also to help integrate slaves into society as well. During that process, the Southerners would call the Northerners coming down carpetbaggers, because they would carry a carpet bag full of their like clothing and supplies and stuff, and they would move in and tell Southerners what to do. So nowadays it's more... Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you want to picture a carpet bag in your head, think of the movie Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Her bag that is basically a TARDIS, that is a carpet bag.
So basically these days, it means someone who comes from somewhere else to tell you what to do that isn't really part of your community. It has more of a broader meaning nowadays. Not that I would use it necessarily, but like it's more of like, because they're Republicans. This is kind of Republican language. Yeah, no problem. All right, let's watch this clip here. I think they might have some of the highlights. I don't know, but we'll see. All right.
And we've got Ernest Fleming with Colorado Politics.
God. For Spotify listeners, you're not going to be able to see her, but I'm looking at her and she just looks so nervous.
I'd like to ask her just a really simple question, and that is, could you give the definition of carpetbagger to me?
1 minute.
Is this a Mary
we just did
Poppins
that.
question? So yes, I have moved into the 4th district. My boys and I needed a fresh start. That's been very public of what the home life looked like, and I'm sorry to bring that up. I've tried to put it into a very pretty package and bring my ex-husband lots of honor, but since there is nothing private about my personal life, it is out there, and my boys need some freedom from what has been going on, and this move is the right move for me and for them.
I don't really buy that personally. I don't think it's really about her kids. I think it's really about her political intentions.
We have an opportunity now to absolutely secure that seat and keep it red and stop the Hollywood money that was pouring millions of dollars, close to $10 million, into that district, affecting even down ballot races, which is simply not fair.
I think that Congresswoman Boebert has made a very big misstep in her decision to jump from CD3 to CD4, and the Eastern Colorado electorate is going to show her that, despite everything she says and does coming out of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, there we go. What do we think about that? I think she's definitely not. I think she's definitely not doing it for her kids. I'll say that much.
Oh, 1,000% not for her kids.
No.
She is a person who really only thinks about herself and uses the people around her, including her family, as props to, get what she wants and maintain her image.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I do think this is about like, as far as I'm aware, this seems to be mostly about trying to move to an easier district for her. She's moving from a district that has stopped being as red to one that is very red. And now she's trying to see if she can possibly secure her seat back in this new district with more support. But I think that even with, look, I don't think that Republicans necessarily have like a lot of, I don't know, insight into how things work necessarily. I think they're very lacking in insight most of the time. But even they, I think, can see through this ruse. This is pretty obviously like a power grab. This is like a cheap power grab, I think, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
She has clout and she's trying to use it.
Yeah, and of course, like with the way that the Republican Party runs itself, as like sort of the moral high ground party,
Mm-hmm.
She has garnered too much scandal,
Yeah.
like her Beetlejuice thing
Mm-hmm.
that kind of showed her hypocrisy of, talking about being like all about family values, save the kids, we need to block this, that, the other thing because of the children, and then actively being fondled and fondling someone at a public event
Seriously.
where children are present. So
Like, seriously.
like she had too big of a public scandal showing like that hypocrisy that despite various other members of both parties showing their hypocrisy, like hers was so big that at this point, no matter where she's jumping, like they're like, no, we can't hitch our trailer to you because you had a really obvious one of like,
and a really obvious divorce too afterwards, like a really like glaringly
she
obvious.
did that while she was still married, right? But hadn't even filed for divorce yet, so it was like also like adultery, infidelity. So it's like being the party of family values, as they say. Like,
hey, but I mean, look, she's just she's following the lead example of Trump. Like, philandering and divorcing and having like not really caring about your kids but using them as a prop. I mean, this is all just from the playbook. Yeah, for real. Yes. Oh boy. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to bring this one up because I thought it was very funny. There is one news story here that I did want to bring up that I think is important but is also a bit of a downer, so I hope you're okay with that. So here we go. Let me bring up the link here. This is from The Independent here. So there's been a recent change with Alabama's execution process, where they are now using nitrogen executions. So
they did. It's just the one that's happened so far, right?
I believe so. Yeah. But so this is from the Independent. Kenneth Smith's nitrogen execution was textbook and will be used again, according to the Alabama Attorney General. So that was on Thursday night, I believe. They executed somebody via nitrogen hypoxia, or is that what it is? Nitrogen hypoxia. Yes, nitrogen. Yeah, it is nitrogen hypoxia. We have a clip on this as well if you want to listen to the clip here. 1 second. It's a bit more context, a bit more quickly here. This is from the AP.
58-year-old Kenneth Smith is the first person in the U.S. to be executed using nitrogen gas. That, according to the Alabama governor. Smith was sentenced to death for his role in the 1988 murder-for-hire plot of a preacher's wife. He and his attorneys argued that execution by nitrogen gas would constitute cruel and unusual punishment, but the U.S. Supreme Court denied a final appeal. His spiritual advisor described the moments when he died.
What we saw was minutes of someone struggling for their life. We saw minutes of someone heaving back and forth.
But the head of Alabama's Department of Corrections says nothing was out of the ordinary.
It appeared that Warren Smith was holding his breath as long as he could. And then there's also information out there he struggled against his restraints a little bit.
Smith was originally set to be executed in November of 2022 by lethal injection, but officials were unable to locate a vein and called it off. According to the governor, Smith had requested nitrogen hypoxia as an alternative to lethal injection.
I actually didn't know that. Hang on. I wanted to pause here. I didn't know that he requested that, actually. That's something I didn't know. Which is very interesting, because that does add a wrinkle to this. I mean, not that I think that being on death row is acceptable. I don't think, execution is acceptable at all. I just didn't know that was a thing that he had requested. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I had no clue. Okay, sorry. I'm going to finish this clip. That was wild.
And what's happening to him. No, bro, everybody's forgot about the woman in Colbert County. That's what she's known as right now. Her name's Elizabeth Sennett. He killed her. He's got to pay that price for what he done to our mother.
The victim's son spoke Thursday, saying they never did get an apology from Smith.
I think he's sorry you got caught. 35 years, if he was truly sorry, we would have got a letter or something. He never got it.
Alabama, Mississippi, and Oklahoma are the only 3 states that allow nitrogen gas to be used as a method of execution, while numerous organizations pushed for Alabama to call off the execution. It happened at 8:25 p.m. Central Standard Time.
This execution happened in Alabama Thursday night, but here in California, we have not seen an execution since 2006.
All right, enough of that. Yeah, so pretty crazy stuff. I mean, obviously these states are very much involved in doing death row stuff, executions and stuff like that. They've always been really gung-ho about it, as far as I can tell. I don't think there's been a point where they've ever really turned back on that. But I mean, here's my take. Regardless of how it's done, you're executing a person. You're killing somebody. There's no real justification here, no matter what. I don't know. What's your take here? What do you think about this?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't really taken a whole lot of time to sit and think with it.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry. I don't mean to ambush you here. If you don't have any thoughts about it, it's fine. I totally
no,
understand.
It's just sometimes you'll see and hear about something that somebody does, and you're like, oh man, that person doesn't deserve to be alive.
Right.
But yeah, it's in the end, you are killing someone, and if you are going to be doing it, doing it as humanely as possible is the way so
Sure.
the lethal injection thing. If we have to have a death penalty or whatever, that's the one, because this, listening to this, it's you're sitting there watching someone inhale a gas that kills them. That's it's literally sitting by a window watching a person in a gas chamber. That's so fucked. That's what really hits me, is just the people that in general that just go to watch these executions, that just you can't
Not
I
my
get it,
thing.
it's one of our morbid things in human, from fucking coliseums to public hangings to all that stuff. It's a thing that we have in our society, but I don't get it. I can't watch it. But for me, it's the lethal injection is at least close enough to when you're having to take your pet to the vet to be euthanized.
Sure.
Watch them fall asleep.
There is an element to that, though,
sense.
which is that, unfortunately, for a lot of the lethal injections that we do in America now, it's often with cocktails of drugs that are not intended for actually
Really?
lethal injection. Yeah, because a lot of the companies
that
that
I didn't know. I was running under the impression it was similar to the euthanasia stuff that we use
no.
on animals.
So a lot of the companies, the
shit.
pharmaceutical companies that are involved in producing the chemicals that would be involved in that, are in Europe, and a lot of those companies have barred ever selling those chemicals for this purpose to the states for lethal injection. So now a lot of those states are forced to turn to alternative cocktails, which are not necessarily guaranteed to provide a painless death, or a quick
I
death.
had no idea.
It is really
For me,
unfortunate.
I don't want death penalty at all.
Yeah, me neither.
If you're doing it to punish someone, it's it's not a punishment.
Yeah,
they're
you're
now no longer existing and living with their guilt, or whatever.
or even then, it's supposed to be about rehabilitation, isn't that what we always talk about with
that's the
jail,
whole
with
point
prison?
of what prison is supposed to be. Yeah. We've got another thing in the chat.
The Talking Nerd 9001 says, relating this back to something nerdy, who's really to judge who dies and who lives? Kind of like Injustice Superman. Where does it stop?
Absolutely.
Oh, and Truebit says that's probably why he picked the gas. Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
the drugs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the gas itself is it is supposed to be technically okay. This is a fact that a lot of people aren't aware of, but there are like movements for like euthanasia, for like self-euthanasia and things like that, and they have these things called like, I think they're called exit bags. And so people who are involved in these euthanasia movements who want to help people end their lives gracefully without having to continue in pain will go there. They'll have these exit bags. They're basically just like, they're like sacks that you fit over someone's head, and they seal over them, and you pump nitrogen gas in there. And the nitrogen gas is supposed to help with just letting someone slip away. Like, the idea is that with carbon dioxide, if it builds up in your lungs or in the air around you, it'll trigger like alarms in your body that'll start you choking.
Like the panic and choking. Okay.
The panic and choking. With the nitrogen gas, the idea is that it replaces the oxygen, and you're not picking up on that because nitrogen is supposed to be in the atmosphere anyway. It's 70% of the atmosphere, regardless. So you're not going to pick it up. So as it's replacing the oxygen, you're supposed to slip away. Now, if there's like a leak or like a part where it's like not sealed correctly around the bag, oxygen will slip in, and that will prolong the experience and may cause pain. That's kind of where the problem might happen, and likely what might
if you're in a bigger chamber.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, and like if you're like in an execution chamber, they might not really care that much about your quality of life as you're leaving here, you know.
Exactly.
So they might not seal it right over you. There might be an oxygen leak. That might be what happened with this guy. Like, he might have had a mask on, but they didn't seal it right, and he had oxygen leaking in, and he was just like slowly suffocating out there, you know. That could have happened.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's complicated. It's definitely complicated. I can see why he might have picked the gas, but like, also I can see where they could have gone wrong with it. And again, it's death row regardless. Like, not cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's great. So yeah, I just wanted to cover this because it's an interesting story, and one with a lot of angles to it.
Our entire prison system just needs massive
reform.
Fucking reform.
I'll leave you with one hot take though. Here's my hot take. Okay, if I had to die by execution, I would prefer firing squad. Just gonna say it. I prefer firing squad. Just get it over quickly. Just gun me down.
Squad. It's the fucking what they used to do in the like Roman era. It's basically the cattle like stick to the back of the neck. Instant.
That's what you want? You want just an instant whack to the head?
Instant whack. It's gone.
I mean, honestly, it's the least cruel option in my opinion. Okay, yeah, that's my end thought here, really. It's like all of these lethal injection, like gas, like you're just trying to obscure the fact that you're killing someone. So just give someone a club, put him in there, and just whack that guy's head and be done with it already, because that's practically what you're doing here at this point. Just do it already.
Like, we more humanely slaughter our meat animals.
Seriously, like
prisoners on death row. So I'm just like, look,
put a gun to his
quick and easy ways to do
gun to the back of the head. Just do it already, because you're just being squeamish at this point. Like, either don't do it or stop being squeamish about it. That's my take. You know.
Burn the whole system to the ground. Start over. That's what I say.
That's I agree with you there. But yeah, that's the ultimate point here is burn it down. Let's start over. Prison reform, prison abolition, you know, things like that. Let's move on to another news story. Something else. Do you want to choose one, or do you want me to choose another one here?
Oh my goodness, I don't have the list in front of me right now.
Oh, okay. If you want, I can choose another one.
I think you've got the list in front of you. It'll take me a second to find it.
Let's see here. There aren't a lot of fun. Here's the problem with the news story segment, is that there aren't a lot of fun news stories. Most of them are pretty upsetting.
All of the news is upsetting these days.
Yeah, let's see. Is there one that's less upsetting? Well, I guess there's one that, I mean, I haven't touched on Israel lately, and I feel like I should touch on Israel recently. So there's one here that I think is like still important to touch on. So let me it's we're talking about friendly fire incidents in Israel here. I don't think I have a news art, like I don't have a clip on this one, so I'll just kind of talk about it. But NBC News here is reporting deaths of Israeli soldiers in explosion highlight friendly fire accidents in Gaza. So my understanding of the situation here is that there was a large group of Israeli soldiers who were mining a residential block. They were mining it to build a buffer zone around a kibbutz. And during the mining process, while they were all surrounding that area, fighters from Hezbollah had hit them with a rocket. I think it's hit them with a rocket or some sort of explosive. Or Hamas, yeah, Hamas. I don't know what I was saying here, but is it? Yes, okay. Here it is. Now I'm going to reread this because this is how it actually went down. They were getting ready to destroy a Hamas facility used to build rockets. They were lining the site with explosive charges. A nearby tank crew, believing it had spotted Hamas fighters, opened fire. The shell toppled an electrical pole. It fell and triggered the explosives. So a friendly fire tank attack managed to kill a bunch of people.
From a tank.
Yeah, I think what is it? How many was it? Was it 26? I think that was the count. But yeah, so a friendly fire accident here ended up killing a bunch of people. And at this point, there's been reports as well that have been going out saying that nearly a fifth of the casualties from the Israeli soldiers have been friendly fire accidents where they've just been hitting their own people. So I just wanted to bring this one up because it's, just more evidence of like one, well, actually not evidence. I wanted to bring up a point here about this story, which was like, it's being framed, I think, by many people as like a sad story or like an accident, but we're not talking about what was really going on. Think about this. They had combat engineers putting explosive charges around a residential block to detonate it because it was a Hamas rocket facility. Okay, so there wasn't really any proof, as far as I could tell, that this was a Hamas rocket facility. I have heard reports that this was to build a buffer zone so that the kibbutz nearby people can start to move back in to the kibbutz and they can start protecting it. But I mean, ultimately, I feel like this falls under like a war crime because they are indiscriminately damaging property that they don't need to be attacking. They're labeling it as a Hamas, rocket facility, but really it's a residential block. It's a residential block for people where they used to live, and
just blowing up people's homes.
They're just blowing up people's homes. And like, if you think about it, this is one incident. How many combat engineer squads do they have out there that are mining residential blocks and taking them out? I mean, I've seen dozens of videos already where they've just been leveling buildings.
We're only hearing about this one because something, quote unquote, went wrong.
Exactly. Something went wrong, and now a bunch of people died, and they can't ignore it because like 20 or 30 people died. I think a general even died, if I'm not mistaken. There was like a major general or something that died in the explosion as well, which is like insane to admit to your enemy, by the way. Like, yeah, like it's crazy. 36 out of the 188 soldiers killed at the time of the report were killed by friendly fire. Like 36 people. And like, think about it this way too. 188 people might not sound like a lot, but that's 188 families in Israel that now have a dead soldier. Obviously, like the Palestinians are in a different situation. They are like in a prison. They are locked into this like open air prison. They have nothing else to do but fight back. They have no other options but to fight back at this point, or to try and like run, which is almost impossible at this point, because the only other option they could leave to is Egypt, and Israel won't let them leave to Egypt. Like the only other option.
It's a very similar situation of like all of the Palestinian people being lumped in with one group, similar to how, Muslim people were all sort of lumped in together, as like holding the same ideals, and it's like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sad. It's like most of these people like they just want to live, and
they just want to live
on their ancestral homeland. That's like that's all it is. That's all it is.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
They're being displaced, and then even if they manage to survive the displacement, they might come back and not have a home anymore because something like this happened, and they
If they
were
even
doing
can
it
come
up
back.
for safety reasons, even if they can't come back.
If
And
they
it would
even
have
are
to be
allowed
like,
to come back.
yeah,
Hmm.
which is, ugh. I have so many like deep and intricate like thoughts and opinions on this entire thing that I know is
Hmm.
also like painted from a perspective of my own family having a history of surviving genocide. So it's just like
Yeah.
this is a very complicated topic for me.
It is, but I think ultimately the answer is very simple, which is that Israel is in the wrong and needs to stop and explore a
Yes,
two-state solution.
absolutely.
Um,
It is a colonist created country.
mhm.
From basically Europe, built out of European guilt, but also
Mhm.
to put in like a point of European power still.
Yeah.
And they displaced people, peaceful people who were on their own homeland, and yeah.
Mhm.
I could keep going.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I wanted to read this quote out here. This is from James Stavridis, retired U.S. Navy admiral. He's saying this is a high rate of friendly fire, even given that it's occurring in a very dense urban terrain. I think the Israelis will be looking very hard at each of these incidents to try and draw the lesson learned and reduce that level of friendly fire. I mean, it is very high, and I to go back to my earlier point, and I just wanted to wrap up on the story with this point was that it feels very much like a parallel to Iraq. Think about it this way. Like, remember when Iraq was going on and like, obviously, yes, we killed like thousands of people there and lots of people died on the Iraqi side. And we didn't really think about it that much, because it was like, we're fighting terrorism, so we're going to excuse some shit. But like, people couldn't excuse when they were seeing coffins with American flags draped on them coming back. That's when people started to like really start to turn, I think, when they started seeing their children come back and like crying families and asking, what's the real price of this? Why are we really there? Why are we sending our people there to die?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the Israelis are having a similar moment, but even more perhaps even more like potently, because it's right on their doorstep and they're like hearing the explosions and seeing the people that are dying, at least maybe seeing the soldiers coming back that have died, maybe more closely than perhaps even we did as Americans.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where I wanted to wrap up, though. Any other thoughts on this before we move on to maybe something else? I feel like we can move on to some pop culture news at this point. It's been a bit heavy.
Pop culture. The world is heavy and dark
The world
and sad.
is very, very heavy and dark and sad. So yeah, let's do that. Let's move on to something else here. Okay.
Popular Culture Barometer. It's time for the weather report.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to It's What's Poppin'. It's the little section here in this show where we discuss pop culture, internet, streaming, games, all that jazz, all the fun stuff. You know how it is. The fun stuff we like, right? Isn't that right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Let me get this. Oh, let me get this news off of my screen. Yuck. Okay. Let's move on to some interesting stories. One of the ones I really wanted to hit on right away was the recent payment changes that have been coming out. So there's been some recent payment changes on Twitch. Obviously, you and I don't really have to worry about this too much yet because we don't make that much money.
We don't make that much, yeah. I don't make anything from Twitch yet.
Yeah, I barely make anything at this point.
Ever? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
But right now, streamers who are relying on Twitch Prime gaming subs are getting a slight pay cut, and they're changing monetization for other parts here. So they're making some changes here. First, Twitch is eliminating the $100,000 cap on its 70-30 revenue split for the platform's highest earning creators. So they're implementing a new plan in which the highest earning streamers would have their revenue beyond 100,000 reduced from 70-30 to 50-50. So now they're taking a pay cut, actually. Twitch is taking 50% of their earnings now, if they're going up, I think, above that cap. So now everyone's on that 50-50 split, which sucks because now you're taking like a 20% cut on your Twitch Prime subs, which is not great.
No.
Yeah. People have been talking about this. I don't know if you've been hearing about it or if you're like in the know on a lot of Twitch stuff.
I'm not like super in the know. I have been hearing some stuff here and there. There is a streamer that I mostly she usually streams like super early in the morning. She's like different time zones, stuff like that. So I don't tend to catch her on Twitch, but like so, but she posts everything, you know, over onto YouTube, which is when I usually tend to catch it. And so she's talked about it quite a bit because she's been streaming on Twitch for a very long time. You know, she's, you know, moderately well known. She used to go by Gamer Girl Gab, now it's Gab Smulders. But she's been talking about it because this is like been her main source of income for quite a while. And to have like this pretty big of a cut, you know, really impacts her. And then also, you know, this happening after, you know, all these, like not just Twitch, but all these different companies, you know, reporting like record high numbers. And it's like, well, before you even made this cut, you talked about how you made record profits. So the answer to that is to then pay everyone who makes your platform even possible less.
Yeah,
it's pushing her into doing more YouTube.
Yeah,
streaming.
I've definitely been
So
considering
it's
doing some
pushing
YouTube streaming.
a lot of these creators, these bigger creators that, you know, made people want to even come to Twitch, like move.
The thing is, the thing is that YouTube is a great VOD repository, and I'm already using it as that. And like honestly, just switching over to live as well on that would make sense to make that even simpler. And like,
And that's kind of what she was saying, is that she already puts everything over there, you know, edited once away from Twitch over onto there. That's like, oh, it's just kind of easier. It's just like she's sort of doing half and half streaming now, and it's mostly to like slowly move her fan base from Twitch to YouTube.
Yeah, I feel that. It's an interesting time. And the thing is, like, the thing that people don't always account for is that Twitch is running on AWS, which is that Amazon Web Service. So their biggest cost is that hosting, to be able to host video and content and stuff. But the thing is like Amazon owns Twitch, so they shouldn't have to pay for AWS service, but they do. But Amazon still makes them pay for AWS, which is why they fall into this level of unprofitability.
Because Bezos needs more.
Well, I mean, I think it's more of a game, really. They want Twitch to look unprofitable so that they can do whatever they want with the pricing scheme for their streamers. But the thing is that if they wanted to, they could instantly stop the fees on AWS. They can make it immediately free because it's their service. They don't need to be charging their service to be able to use their other service. Like, it's part of the same family. So if they did that, immediate profitability, Twitch would be immediately profitable, like instantly. I think it's just really it's to apply pressure in places where they want to apply pressure to, and to you know, be able to justify certain decisions, I think. Now the thing is that they are talking about possibly changing it to add more, like make it easier for more people to get more money out of it. It looks like they will try and get like 3 times as many streamers to benefit from better revenue shares than this like 50-50 split. And that's supposed to be coming in May, so I guess we'll see what happens in May as things kind of develop with this Twitch Plus program that they're talking about. But also, some people are feeling like there's like a really high kind of threshold to make it to that Twitch Plus kind of venue. Because like what it looks like here, based on the article, is that it's like you have to have 350 paid subscribers a month, and I can promise you that like 90% of people don't have that on this platform. 90% of people do not have 350 paid subscribers. I have 4 paid subscribers right now. 4. That's it. And I've been streaming for like almost a year and a half now at this point. Like, if you got to be popular to get this split, and like it's not. It's rough. So the other one is
it's similar on so many platforms. Like the only way to really like be able to make anything is that you have to come onto the platform already popular.
Like there's the other option is Kick, and I'm not gonna go on Kick because Kick is just a front for fucking gambling. Like I don't give a shit about e-gambling, and I'm not gonna support that. I mean, YouTube sounds good because they are still offering 70% on the revenue for subscriptions. I mean, it's a tempting thing to think about. I mean, I'm lazy and I haven't done it yet, but I've been thinking about like when I get some more time, maybe hopping on and seeing what the live scene looks like there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't love YouTube. I think it's got a lot of problems too, but you know, I mean, it's an option. Yeah, just wanted to bring that up here. Hey, so you have the list in front of you. What looks good on this? How about you pick something fun on the pop culture news ideas here? How about that?
Oh my goodness.
Or something interesting. I mean, there are a lot of sad stories in this too. Now that I'm looking at it too. Jesus Christ! Is there anything interesting at least that you see there?
To be honest, like
this one might hit. This one might hit.
A lot of these I haven't followed super closely.
Well, this one might be interesting to you because like this is kind of more in your venue. But like, have you heard about the adult actress Jessie Jane passing away? I don't know if you're.
She passed.
What's that?
Shit.
Yeah,
I didn't realize she had passed. When did that happen?
Pretty recently. I think this was on the 25th. Yeah, she's famous for the Pirates series of adult films.
Yeah, no, that's what I know her from.
Yeah, so she apparently died of a drug overdose.
Damn.
That was your favorite? Oh shit! I never actually watched that, but I always every time I went to the porn shop, I saw it.
Parody porn is my absolute favorite genre of porn.
Oh
Absolute favorite genre of porn. It's parody porn. That's for live action, and then hentai. I love hentai.
Oh, mood.
But yeah, when it comes to live action porn, parody porn. So it's like the Pirates ones. Mwah. There's some really great Batman ones out there. Like, oh my goodness, yes, parody.
There was
porn,
an X-Files one that I wanted to watch.
Oh my god, that one's good.
The Sex Files.
Yes.
Oh shit. Truebit says Masumi Max passed too. Oh no.
What the? When did that happen?
I didn't even know about that. I mean, I'm not familiar with Masumi, but I can look it up here. Hang on. Max dying.
We're losing some wonderful sex workers. God damn.
January 25th. Also on January 25th. What the fuck?
They died on the same day? Are you kidding me?
What the fuck? Was it also drugs? Hang on. Here.
Shit. Oh, she had a drug overdose?
Was it? Let me see. Hold on.
Oh, I mean, just
dead by cops, Nevada area. But not suspecting foul play.
Well, and they just had the AVN Awards, so they probably had like a whole memorial thing because that happened just this past weekend.
Oh, hang on. It might have the death cause here. Wait, I thought they said. Did they not say how she died? Okay, I don't know. I don't think we know how she died. But yeah, okay.
It's
but
still not really out yet.
It doesn't look like it's out yet. But yeah.
Damn.
Also, Jessie Jane died on the same day.
Yeah, and it all happened like right as we were going into like one of the biggest adult video awards things in Vegas.
Yeah,
this happened this past weekend. It is also my goal to try and be able to make it there next year.
I've never been to that
their amateur area, so we'll see.
That would be fun. But yeah, sad news. Yeah, I figured that I would want to touch on that here with because you might be familiar.
I was unaware. Yeah. Because I was mostly just following like little things from a couple of creators that were at the awards this past weekend. Or last 4 days, whatever. I
feel like Jessie Jane was like part of like an era. It was like part of a generation of like porn stars.
Exactly.
That was like
a lot of us kind of, I don't know, grew up watching her.
She was never my porn star, but like I was familiar with her work, and like I just felt like very much like a definer of the genre. I think at the time.
Oh yeah.
Also very instrumental in Pirates and other properties.
So as someone, as I've been coming into sort of like finding my footing within the adult industry, like looking to people like her who did like the parody porn, like with me trying to incorporate, my cosplay of various characters and things like that into my adult work. So it's like looking at things that they were in to help inspire me with how do I want to do things. So for me, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sad. It's sad to hear that. I mean, definitely a giant in the field passing away.
Both of them. I'm assuming Max too. Yeah.
God. I'm going to be really sad when like Nina Hartley dies. Like she's one of my favorites. She's the GOAT, honestly. Like I would be so sad if she passed away. Oh my God. Am I right? Oh,
yeah.
jeez. Okay. Anyway, I wanted that.
There's some stars out there that I'll just be like, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine, but not.
Like, at least
not
you're
all
not
of them.
assaulting people on set anymore. I'm okay with this. But
Yeah.
there are other ones I'm just like, what?
Speaking of
No.
assaulting people on set, I mean, that's one thing I want to get to in a
Pirates
moment.
use the set from Pirates?
Pirates of the Caribbean, it looks like.
Oh, they use the actual sets?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Oh.
Interesting. I wonder if Disney would fly with that.
I don't know if Disney would. Well, you know how they could have is that, one of the ships that was used in the original Pirates of the Caribbean is local to us here in the Pacific Northwest, the Lady Washington. They used that ship as the interceptor in the first film. So since that is an independent ship that they used, it's entirely possible that they just rented the ship to film on. And there you have one of your sets that's being used.
Yeah, I think that would make
I
sense.
would have to look further into that. But yeah, I've been on the Lady Washington.
I can imagine that would
They
make
have a
sense.
plank of wood on there that's like behind glass and stuff that all the stars like signed below decks.
That's cute. Yeah, but Vivid was owned by Buena Vista. Okay. I
Okay. So then they would have access to a lot of the same costuming and set pieces because it's Buena Vista that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trivets.
But yeah, speaking of assault, as you were mentioning, I did have another story I wanted to touch on, which is I'm sure you probably already saw this, but Vince McMahon.
I've been aware of him for a while. Like a lot of us.
WWE sued ex-staff for alleged sexual misconduct. This is awful, by the way. I heard the details on this one recently. Boy, this one's really bad. There's a video here. We can watch the clip here if you want to follow up on this with me. But I heard some bad stuff.
Do I want to see the clip?
I mean, it's NBC. They're not gonna go into anything too crazy.
Tonight, one of the biggest names in professional wrestling facing stunning new accusations, including sex trafficking over several years. A former employee accusing
He's such a
WWE
goblin.
founder and former CEO Vince McMahon of physical.
Yeah, no, he's been on my radar for a while.
Oh, we're lagging. Hang on. Come on, YouTube.
McMahon of physical and.
Why the fuck is my shit lagging? Hang on. Let me refresh this. Try this again. Can you hear me?
A former employee accusing WWE founder
Yeah, I can hear you.
and
Okay,
former
good.
CEO Vince McMahon of physical and emotional abuse, sexual assault, and trafficking at WWE. In the
Jesus.
lawsuit, Janelle Grant, who worked there up until March 2022, says McMahon texted her, quote, "I'm the only one who owns you and controls who I want to expletive you." Grant's claims include sexual acts involving defecation, restraint, and aggressive use of sex toys.
I want to point that out. The defecation specifically. He literally, I'm not kidding. He literally like shat on her head and made her hold it there for like an hour while they were having sex with her. Like, I'm not fucking kidding. He's evil, like awful. Oh, apparently Brock Lesnar was named too in this. Oh my god.
And that McMahon forced her to have sex with him and other men at the WWE headquarters in return for job security. The lawsuit seeks
consenting adults enjoying a kink together, like great.
That's different.
But, yeah.
But not if it's your job on the line. Oh my god. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no. Whenever.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Like in the industry that I work in, like we keep tabs on people like this, and we tend to know, and we usually tend to be the ones that start warning people about them, like way before anybody else picks up on it. And then we get ignored because it's like, oh, well, you're just, a fucking stripper. Who cares what happens?
You're just a hooker,
right?
like blah,
exactly.
blah, yeah.
And then finally, when it happens to somebody who is not a sex worker, that like works under a person like this under power, and then they come out, then people finally, sometimes, not always, but finally start listening. But yeah, no, I've been aware of this guy being a piece of shit.
Oh yeah.
From a sexual abuse standpoint for a very, very long time. And so like when these shows like WWE comes through to different places to film, like the word kind of goes out like, hey, be careful, this is in town, these people have a history of doing this, so if they come into your club, be fucking careful.
Yeah, true. And God, he's a billionaire. He's a fucking billionaire too. This guy's like, he can get away with whatever the fuck he wants to, and he still pulls this shit with his fucking employees. Like, my God, what is he doing behind closed doors? If this is what he's doing to his employees.
Just like, so many like music stars and things like that, like, and stories have been coming out about these guys for years, and they're still out here doing it because, we live in a society where men, especially powerful men with money, can do whatever the hell they want.
It's really awful,
which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Let me finish this clip for us here, and then we can discuss more. Sorry, no, you're good. You're so good. I love interrupting too. I interrupt too. I love it.
Where she would receive $3 million.
I'm sorry. One more thing. I think it's just because people love his character that they excuse this bullshit. That's really what I think it is. I just wanted to say that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, here we go.
Grant says she stopped receiving payments after an initial $1 million payout.
If, as alleged, McMahon stopped making those payments, she might have a breach of contract claim. But that's not what she's really alleging in the complaint. She's alleging violations of federal human trafficking law.
In a statement, Vince McMahon's spokesperson says this lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene, made-up instances that never occurred, and a vindictive distortion of the truth. He will vigorously defend himself. Last year, McMahon, who has not been criminally charged, spoke to CNBC in broad terms about his overall legacy.
Let me just say that I've made mistakes, obviously, both personally and professionally through my 50-year career. I've owned up to every single one of them and then moved on.
The explosive lawsuit and graphic allegations come at a critical time for the WWE. Just this week, McMahon was at the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh yeah,
their newest board member.
I remember this. I remember. Yeah, The Rock is on here. He's with TKO now because I remember they merged with the whatchamacallit. Oh God, what is that called again? What MMA? They merged with that MMA group. What is it called? You know what I'm talking about, though, right? What is it called? I don't remember the names of it, but yeah, they merged with that shit. And so yeah, that he even has even more money.
The Rock Johnson. Also, Netflix just acquiring WWE's streaming rights worth billions of dollars. But now, all eyes on the WWE, who the plaintiff's attorney says they will hold accountable, claiming they turned a blind eye to the abuse and then swept it under the rug.
And Tom, WWE's parent company is responding to this tonight.
That's right, Lester. The parent company is called TKO, and they tell NBC News Mr. McMahon does not control TKO, nor does he oversee the day-to-day operations of WWE.
He's not with us.
While this matter
He's not with us.
Our TKO executive team's tenure at the company, we take Ms. Grant's horrific allegations very seriously and are addressing this matter internally. Lester?
Yeah, this guy's a monster, and I've definitely heard many, many times in many rumors that he's a really awful dude. And boy, it's great to finally get that aired out, but it's really sad that it had to come this way.
Yeah. But it's like, if he's doing that to one of his employees who's like there,
yeah,
you can only imagine like when he's gone to different towns, like the things he's done to people in my line of work.
The people he's paid off, like he's paid off multiple women already. I can only imagine how many other women that we don't know about he's paid off for doing crazy shit, like shitting on a fucking woman's head. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, ew, just God, dude. Awful, just awful individual. And I can only hope for his downfall. Anyway, let's move on to another story. Another story here. We can talk about a game. Let's talk about game stuff because this is one that.
Let's talk
about video games. We love video games. You might have heard about this one too. But we'll talk about Pal World news. Have you heard about Pal World? Pokemon with guns?
I have not, actually.
Okay, this is literally one of the biggest games on Steam right now. It has surpassed 3.25 million concurrent players on it. It's a like open access, early access kind of thing, but it's basically like it's very heavily inspired by Pokemon, but they get guns and it's like survival and like you run around with your pal and you shoot guns with them and they save your ass and stuff and crazy stuff like this. It's apparently gone past Fortnite briefly with users spending more than 200 minutes on average in the game. It sold more than 8 million copies.
What game studio is it from?
That I don't know. Who sold this? Blah, 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 blah. Hang on. World
I
developer.
asked because I used to work in the industry a
Pocket
million
Pair.
years ago.
Pocket Pair Inc. Do you know them?
I don't, but they're probably owned by one of the bigger ones.
Okay. We do have a video clip here because actually they've been involved. Pokemon's been very heavily
Oh, you can
paying
make
attention
a
to
PAL
this.
sweatshop. Oh no.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
apparently there's that.
no.
That's an option in here. But yeah, the Pokemon Company is weighing in on this, so I thought we would watch a little clip here.
Okay.
Hey everybody, Max here with your daily fix
it's
of
a
gaming
new
news.
studio.
The Pokemon
Okay,
Company
so it
has
is
issued
not
an
a
official
studio I've
statement
looked
on
for.
Pal World's
Yeah.
many similarities, and IGN
True,
talked to some
drop
legal
the
experts
thanks.
about whether or not there's a case here. Meanwhile, Microsoft just had some of the worst layoffs in video game history,
Hold
and
on.
Horizon for
I'm gonna see if I can skip to the actual news. Here we go.
game
Their
has also
indie is
attracted the
awful.
attention
Oh, no.
of the Pokemon
Like,
Oh, yeah.
from a worker
In a statement on
perspective?
its official corporate website, the Pokemon Company states, quote, "We have received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in January 2024. We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in that game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to the Pokemon. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon and its world and work to bring the world
What a
together
corny
with Pokemon
message.
in the future." Now, bear in mind, this could be in response to the Pokemon mod for Pal World, a totally
Yeah,
official
this
fan
came out by
project
the way.
that replaced
There was a mod that somebody put out there for Pal World to put Pokemon in there, so you could like go around and fucking like kill Pokemon and shit, and use a bow and shit like that. Yeah, and they immediately got sued. Oh my
I'm
god.
sure.
the game's
Mhm.
Pokemon-like creatures with
Oh, yeah.
actual Pokemon and replaced
I'm
human
curious if
characters
they're
with
an
Ash
indie
Ketchum and company.
studio.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have to go back. Wait, look at this. Can you see this? Just you send your
Yes.
fucking Pikachus to the mines. Work, Pikachu. Mine stone for
Game's
me.
Pokemon-like creatures
Oh
with
my
actual
God.
Pokemon and replace the human characters with Ash Ketchum and company.
That's
That
so
mod was quickly
funny.
taken down, but aside from that, there's no denying that even if Pal World's gameplay is nothing like Pokemon, some of the pals in it do bear a resemblance to some of the titular Pocket monsters.
They do look pretty
A lot
similar.
of people are wondering, should Pal World's publisher Pocket Pair prepare for legal trouble and make it double? IGN spoke to a few legal experts on the matter. Peter Lewin, a video game lawyer at Wigan,
Ooh,
pointed
that's
out
shady
that first
as
and
hell.
foremost, it depends
See
on
what
where the
True was
Pokemon
put in the
Company
chat
or
there?
Nintendo or Game Freak tried to
Oh,
take
yeah.
legal action,
Hang on.
since intellectual property
I just wanted to give a little bit of context there. This clip is annoying. But yeah, TrueBit says we steal Pokemon assets and change them until they are unrecognizable by a image recognition app as Pokemon. Hey, I mean, look, I'm not gonna argue that they look incredibly similar to Pokemon. Like, literally, these could be Pokemon in the next gen. I'm not kidding.
Oh, yeah.
But it does seem like a different game, at least. Like, it's got you can send them to the mines, you know? You can make them work hard. You can they can be useful now, you know? Hey, you don't get to hang around in the Pokebox anymore. You're going to work hard now. You're going to dig diamonds out for me. Conflict diamonds out from the ground for me from now on.
Jeez.
Anyway, yeah, this has been it's been really viral. People have been really playing this a lot. I don't know if that's something you are interested in, but it seems interesting. I don't know if I'm going to play it. There's a duck called Fack or Flack.
I'm probably not.
Me neither, probably. I'm kind of over
Um,
Pokemon at this point, to tell you the truth.
I have so many games on
Mhm.
like my roster of games that I want to play. That it is unlikely, and it's like, and that's not
Sure.
including like games that I've played most of, but just never like finished the actual storyline because they're such
Mhm.
like massive open worlds, like Breath of the Wild and
Sure.
Red Dead Redemption 2. Still
Oh,
haven't like,
yeah.
finished the
You could
storylines. Like
you could spend a few months in there.
exactly, it's like oh,
TrueBit says
and
it
then yeah,
plays
no,
like Arceus but prettier. It's actually really fun, lol. I totally believe it's fun. I totally believe
oh
it's
yeah, I'm
fun.
not denying that it's fun or anything. I just it's probably not a game that I'll get into just because there's so many other games that I want to play, and
Yeah.
there isn't enough of a draw there for me
Mhm.
to get me into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just me
Uh,
personally.
the one thing I will note here is that monkey has a weed leaf on its head. I don't know if you can see this here in the
Oh my
image.
goodness. Yes.
Got a
Yes,
weed
it
leaf,
does.
and I do think that's pretty cool. I'll give the game credit for that. He also has an AK, which is the people's gun, so I will give this monkey
Oh
some
my
credit.
god.
But that's about it. All right, what else do we have here? We have
What else is going on in
yeah.
the gaming world these days?
Do I have any more gaming news for you? Let me see. I don't think I had any more interesting gaming news here, unfortunately. But I do. Let's see. Actually, there's some sad gaming news. There's some sad gaming news that I did want to cover because it is relevant to me, being a game developer. But more than 5,000 people lost their job in game industry this month.
Oh yeah, there have been. So I used to work in the gaming industry prior to moving up to Oregon. And the amount of people that I know who lost their jobs like over the past year and spent most of it completely unemployed, and the number of people that I know that still do not have jobs, like
it's crazy.
Like, I remember like a big massive layoff that I had when I was working at Sony, but like all of us were then immediately able to find jobs at other studios. But yeah, this one's been pretty bad, and I'm hoping that within the next year or two, the industry picks back up, or like new studios open that people get, get hired at. That I don't know.
I'm not very optimistic about that, sadly. Unfortunately, I feel like my thing is like the game, like especially the AAA game industry, and a lot of these layoffs seem to be coming from there. The AAA game industry is very much like driven by the profit incentive, and it's not about the art. So like I feel like at this point they've like so saturated their games with like opportunities to buy like micro content and like micro transactions. They've like really alienated their fan base. They like most of the games they sell need like day one bug patches and like roadmaps to be playable. Like there's just like so much bloat and like broken promises going on, and like so much crunch too. A lot of these employees are getting crunched to hell. They aren't able to produce games in like a reasonable manner, and they're not given proper timelines to be able to make these games. Like it's all a cost cutting effort, and I think at the end of the day, the final cost cutting effort really that you can make to get your numbers up is to lay off people. And to lay them off at expeditious moments so that you can have a good report. And so I think they're at this point here where like they're just going to cut people. They're going to try and fill in the gap with more crunch and more AI so that they can like cobble together a content to meet their like their schedule for their stakeholders. Trubits. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I agree that I think that's what a lot of the AAA companies are doing, but I'm also in agreement here with Trubits of that because of these layoffs, there's a lot of really talented people that are going to, especially those that are all in the San Francisco Bay Area where a lot of the studios are. Folks that work together are going to end up teaming up and making new studios, and so I
can only hope so
with Trubits here that there's going to be some badass new studios popping up. Again, having worked there in that industry, knowing people that are still in that industry, I think like right now it's not so great, but I'm in agreement. I think we're going to see some really cool things popping up in the future. We just need to get through this dark time.
I can only hope so. And I can only hope that people are able to team up together to support one another. Hopefully try different strategies outside of like the corporate model. Because like I feel like this is one of the death knells of this AAA industry. Is like there's so much like money involved and so much like pressure and such expectations that are being put on these games that are too big. Like frankly, like for example, you were talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. Like obviously I haven't played it myself, but I can tell that it's like got so much craft in it and effort and dedication in it that is like absurd. Like it's a beautiful game, obviously, but like the amount of effort and like grinding that had to be done to its workforce to make a game like that is just, I don't think it like justifies its existence sometimes. Like I would rather have a shittier game that plays better, that people were happier to like make and weren't so like sad to make because they were like grinding constantly, you know? Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that like you can have like really well-crafted artistic creations and not have to like turn to this corporate structure and like, because like here's the thing, they hire like thousands of people on these games, like thousands of people, not just to make the games but to support like the process of the game, to like advertise the game. Like that's a lot of people that are getting invested into this project, and a lot of those people get laid off, especially the people in support, in testing, and like a lot of the developers and artists.
I was a tester to start with.
Yeah,
so,
exactly, you know.
Yeah,
It's
I was
yeah.
a tester, and then eventually made my way into the customer service and in-game GMing for some of the MMOs and things.
Oh, yeah.
So I've worked in a couple of different departments.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah. But we are seeing like, it looks like with Microsoft, 1,900 developers are affected. At Unity, it's 1,800. Riot, 530. Twitch had 500, which I've mentioned on the show in past. About 24 companies are affected right now with this. So it's just a lot of places. Blizzards, Blizzard's canceled Odyssey. That's what I'm seeing here. It's bad out there. It's bad, and I can only hope that. I mean, it's also, again, with the economy the way it is. Like, obviously, they're tightening their belts here. It just makes sense. It's just unpleasant.
I am trying to hold on to the hopeful side, especially for all those folks that I know that are in the industry, that they are going to get together and they are going to make some awesome new studios. And, you know, once they get a little time to sort of get themselves set up, we're going to be seeing some really cool things, some cool new studios, especially like with some of the different online spaces for indie games to be released to help like garner an audience and fans to be able to build up those studios.
Absolutely. And honestly, more creativity and craft shows up in these indie games than in any of these AAA games, in my opinion. And not to discredit the artists and people who work on them, but more to point the finger at the corporate structure that prevents them from really actually making something
really
cool.
Flexing the,
exactly.
Flexing the creativity.
Exactly. Now, my bladder's a little full, so how about we finish up with one more story here, and then we'll round out Coffee with Kahtide. How's that sound?
Absolutely, sounds great.
Hell yeah! And I think we'll end up on a positive note, and something that I have a personal interest in. I don't know if you're interested in art history or anything like that, but yes. I personally was interested in this story because this is my favorite artist personally. But a Gustav Klimt painting that was considered lost for over 100 years has been found again, and it's a beautiful one. It's a very beautiful one.
So Klimt is my father's favorite artist as well.
Oh, really?
I will have to ask him about this, see what his feels are.
It's a very gorgeous painting.
Beautiful.
I've always been a fan of his style of combining really lovely expressions and like bodily figures with like geometric shapes. I feel like I enjoy geometric shapes in my art as well, and I think that this just is a really tasteful combination together.
Considering that I have 2 of your art pieces in my house, yes. I see it.
You are aware.
There are so many artists out there that are amazing. I have always been a fan of like the hyper realistic, like Renaissance paintings. But if I could name like one artist that anytime I see any of their stuff, and so many people have been inspired, is Muha and the Art Nouveau style. Just oh my goodness, definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, Klimt is also a great one. I've seen some of the paintings in person at museums. My parents have
I was going to say that
are up at home, and so
I once had the opportunity to go to Austria and to go to Vienna and actually see like they had like an actual exhibit out for him, and he had like in the actual National Art Museum there, he had like these actual like paintings up on the walls, like what's the word I'm thinking of for that when they paint on the walls? What is that called again? Why am I why am I having a brain fart on that? Murals. He had murals painted up on the walls. He had murals painted up on the walls that like you usually only can see in like actual like art books, but they had walkways up on there where you could walk and look at them up in detail, and it was so
that's
cool.
Incredible.
Oh,
that's
my God,
so cool.
yeah. But
that's one of my favorite pastimes is going to museums and looking at art, and that's something I've been thinking about too.
I want to do that again
with the art museum here in Portland where I'm at, of just like getting maybe a membership at the art museum here, and like for when they have these different exhibits coming through with different artists to just like go and see them again.
I still haven't seen my favorite painting, The Kiss, which I would love to see, but
we have a print of that in my childhood home. It's been there forever. I know that my parents have seen it in person. I have not.
That's dope. So the painting is called Portrait of Fräulein Lieser, I think what it's called. Once belonged to a Jewish family in Austria and was last seen in public in 1925. Its fate after that is unclear, but the family of the current owners have had the painting since the 60s. And it sold for $54 million.
Jesus Christ.
Incredibly expensive. Im Kinski is quoted as saying, "A painting of such rarity, artistic significance, and value has not been available on the art market in Central Europe for decades." I mean, that's not really why I consider it important, but hey,
I'm not here for the monetary value. It's the artistic value.
It's the artistic value. It's incredibly beautiful. It's an incredibly beautiful painting. Frankly, one of my favorites of his, I have to say. I have not seen this one before, but I think it's a really gorgeous painting. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that to people's attention. Art history buffs, check it out. But missing painting got found, makes me want to paint a little bit too. Makes me want to paint some.
Yeah, I've been slowly getting myself back into art. Really been diving back into doing charcoal.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. There's something about that medium that I just really, really enjoy.
I used to do a lot of charcoal too, definitely.
Yeah.
One of my things.
I used to draw and paint and all that all the time, and I fell out of it, and so it's been nice getting back into it.
Yeah,
One of these days I'll have to give you some of my art since I have some of yours.
Oh please, yeah, I would love that. That would be really awesome. People never give me art, so I would love some art.
Well, sir, I shall have to change that.
Oh, well, I would love that. And I think that's where we'll wrap up the show for now. Thank you so much for being my first guest on the show, ZaraDancer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put your information up on the screen here, but do you want to shout out anything? You want to tell people anything about what's going on with you here before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, if you go to my website, Zara Wolf, you'll see links to all the places you can find me on the internets. Most of it is adult content oriented, so just a heads up about that.
You may see some boobies and some butts and stuff, but don't worry about it.
You just might, and so if you're cool with that thing, go right ahead.
Truebit says Zara is hot. There you go. That's an endorsement right there.
I'm very hot. Go
Absolutely
check out
agreed.
my butt. It's super cute.
Go follow
Instagram,
too.
And threads, you can see some of my random thoughts and things. Instagram, my pictures. Also, if you are local to the sort of PDX, Portland, Vancouver area.
Pacific Northwest area in the United States.
If you're local to this area or coming to visit, Instagram is also where I keep my club schedule updated. So if you want to meet me in person, you can do that.
Hell yeah.
By meeting me at the club. And then
don't be weird.
My Twitch. Don't be weird. Be cool.
Don't be weird. Be cool.
and follow me on Twitch, and I will be getting more into my video game side there.
Yeah, we'll be streaming together soon, right? We're gonna play some StarCraft or something.
StarCraft.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate it so much. Go follow me as well. Yeah, if you haven't followed me yet on Twitch, do that next. Follow Zara first, then follow me.
Do it now.
Do it now. Check me out on the socials. I'm Kahtide everywhere there. It's easy to find me. And yeah, that's where we'll wrap up. So thank you, everybody. Catch you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.